I find that the only thing I actually use my computer for now is when I'm appearing on other shows, and even though I had to download Zoom earlier to do this show next week, and to actually get the STL files onto a memory stick to then put onto the 3D printer, because this thing has like internal memory on it. So.
Oh, really?
It does, and if I turn the camera around again, this is the Flashforge Adventure 3.
Nice.
As you can see, it's obviously enclosed.
Looks like a microwave.
That is the exact way I describe it when talking to people about it. It is just like a microwave, and it made a little ding after everything was finished. That got very annoying when I got to the point where I would start doing things almost continuously, all day, every day. So I managed to turn the sounds off, because I got woken up at about 5, 6 in the morning one day when I just heard doot, 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 doot. And I nearly took the ultimate Mjolnir to it.
You still have that thing, huh? Well, that's good to see that your things you're making are still hanging around. So that's a good sign.
Yeah. If this room wasn't a complete mess, I'd show you the shelf, which will actually be debuting in my background on my birthday show.
Oh, all right, good.
Where I've got literally everything that I still have as far as saving it. So we've got Batman helmet, an Iron Man helmet, another Iron Man helmet, bunch of pops. Some of the earlier stuff, the Daffy Duck that I made way back when.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I remember that one. Yeah.
The 3D printed shoes, which I remember Eric Adams was a big fan of. My dear friend Jimmy Chondo Lion actually said that I'd never be able to pull off 3D printed shoes. I said, well, if I do, I'm going to stamp on your feet the next time I see you. And of course, obviously, COVID and various other things stopped me from getting over to New Jersey to stamp on his feet, but the offer's still there. But no, I have literally almost everything I've made in the near 7,000 hours that I've used this machine.
Wow.
I have almost everything saved. I think the only things that I didn't save were stuff that I sold, or stuff that didn't make it. So if it snapped or broke in production, which there's a fair few, even nearly 2 years into having this thing, there's a fair few things that still to this day will snap, break, anything like that. I had a really nice Harley Quinn I was trying to print the other day. That snapped mid-production.
Oh, I remember you showed me the picture of that, yeah. Damn.
Numerous times, and that nearly took me to, again, taking the ultimate Mjolnir to the printer, but then I was like, look, if the person who made it and put it on Thingiverse, put it on Yegi, put it on all these other websites, if the person who actually made it can make it, then I too can make it.
Yeah,
so
of course.
Took a little bit of patience, sat back, and said to myself, other things will come. Do them first. Then we'll get to them.
Yeah.
So I have a little bit of patience. But it's not all about me, Wayne, because you yourself just good few weeks ago, I was trying to figure what month we were in then.
We were in January. January 8th.
I should know what month we're in. We're very close to my birthday. Very close to turning 30.
Wow,
but
3-0.
Yeah, you yourself got a printer a matter of weeks ago.
Yes, I did, sir.
This is a journey that I've told you is going to take some time. I want to know some of the highs and lows.
Well, let's welcome people to this show, and just to say that this won't be a weekly show. You know, me and Harry discussed this already. It's going to be pretty much whenever we either have time to do it or have something to talk about this whole thing, because as Harry just said, I'm very new to this 3D printing thing. My wife got it for me for Christmas. And the funny thing is, my wife, I want my wife something for Christmas, but she couldn't figure out what I wanted. And I didn't know what I wanted. And I'm just looking on Amazon and seeing what's on sale. And then I'm like, wait a minute. Harry makes 3D prints, and I've been wanting a 3D printer. Let me see how much they are. And then I looked online on Amazon and then saw that I bought the how do you say it?
Creality.
Thank you. The Ender 3 version 2. So it was like 260s, 270 or something like that. So I said, all right, that's not too much money. So my wife can give me that. And surprisingly enough, she got it. It wasn't too much of a surprise because UPS came and dropped it off, and the outside of the box showed a picture of what it was. And I was like, oh, I guess I'm getting my 3D printer.
Some of them do that. The Flashforge didn't do that, as far as I remember. I think it was just a blank white box. But yeah, some of them do that, and it's like, hey, yeah, a little bit of discretion. I don't exactly want people saying, oh, look, the 3D printer, gonna take that. It's probably worth a lot of money, and then they realize, no, at 200, 300, in various cases, yeah, you have to. You have to hope for a little bit of discretion from the manufacturers, but hey, it's hardly something that you need discretion for.
Right, exactly. But I mean, this thing's pretty cool. I don't know if a lot of people. This is what it looks like, basically. It's all open. Those are things I've made, but it's pretty cool. My table's a disaster right now because my wife is using her thing that I bought her, and I'm using this thing, and so everything's a mess. But it was one of those things where you think that you're going to be able to use it like right out of the box.
Yeah.
But I knew I had to put it together, which wasn't a big deal because I saw some videos before I got it, and I said, all right, that's not a big deal. Just a couple stand, the motor and all that stuff needs to be put together. But the one thing that stumped me, and I even messaged you about it, is the plugs, the X, Y, Z, whatever plugs they didn't really explain where they went. So I was just plugging them into whatever.
That trap as well. I got caught with that trap.
Yeah. So I was like, who can I ask? And I figured, I knew you would know. So of course you did. And you helped me out with that. So then I got up and running, and they give you like some test prints, in the little the memory card that they give you. And one of the test prints was a cat. This was the first one I printed. It's a little, I don't know if you've ever seen the Chinese cat with the hand.
I think I know what
Yeah, actually, I actually got the print. I sent that to you, but nobody else has seen it. It's a little Chinese cat or whatever. You usually see them in Chinese restaurants or whatever. So it came up pretty cool. But the first one, they give you like a free spool of the filament.
That's what I love. That's what I love. The freebie. You'll start to appreciate once the filament cost kicks in. Once you start making a hell of a lot more, your filament's running out quickly. You'll appreciate the fact that you get a freebie with these printers.
Yes, and I was very appreciative of that because I was able to make some mistakes like this one and some other ones I'll show. But the only thing that did bother me with that free little spool is it didn't come on like a spindle, so it just kind of like dangled on the floor.
You have to build one yourself. That's the catch.
Well, I didn't know, and that's why this has no head.
if you hold, oh no, I can't because it's super glued to the table. I was going to say, if you hold that thought for 1 minute, I will grab the one that I printed, which is literally just behind my camera. But I remembered it was getting so annoying that it kept falling over because some of these spools can be quite heavy.
Right.
It kept falling over every time it would pull that along. So I literally super glued one half of it because it pulls off to be able to put it back on.
Yeah.
Super glued one half of it to the table because I got really annoyed when I'd get, again, woken up by a falling spool of film. But, you do have to, there's a lot of things, like a lot of people will do upgrades for their machines, various things you can do on the printer.
Yeah.
But with some things, with some machines, because obviously everyone's going to have different machines. You don't just go out there and say, oh yeah, buying a 3D printer, you go to Amazon, there's 3D printer A, 3D printer B, 3D printer C. No, there is
thousands of printers.
a lot. Like, obviously, I have different to you. You have different to a good friend, Ben Hamin. Ben Hamin has very different to hundreds of other people. But the thing is, you're always going to have different parts to it, different spool connectors, and so in the case of a lot of these, you do have to make them yourself. I mean, I think the first printer I got, because believe it or not, this Flashforge is not my first printer. I got what's called an ANET A8, most budget thing I could see. It was literally, I want to say it was about £100. £100, maybe 90 something pounds. And had to put the entire thing together myself, like literally no half build, this, the entire thing.
Yeah.
But it did come with a spool holder. It did come with a spool holder that you had to screw to the top of it, and then you've got it on there. But I obviously, with this entire endeavor with the 3D printing stuff, I have been very much doing the whole thing on the fly. I don't know what I'm doing. Still to this day, everything I've done has been making it up as I go along. If I do something wrong, I'm not going to go look for help for them. I'm going to try and figure it out myself. So when I first ran something on the ANET, which was fully functional at the time after a good 4 or 5 days of putting it together, realizing that I messed up, taking it apart, putting it back together in the right way. Eventually, I ran some things on that printer, and it would not work. And I was like, the damn thing's broken. It's messing me around. I'm not putting up with this. Send the damn thing back to Amazon.
Yeah.
When I get this Flashforge that I have now, I later found out that I was running ABS type of plastic, ABS on PLA settings. So I was not doing that thing hot enough for it to be able to run as it was. So, when you tend to do things like I do, of just, feeling it out, doing it, not knowing what you're doing, making up as you go along, you're going to run into mistakes like that, and you're going to have a big problemo when you can't make anything. You think, maybe there's a reason why. Maybe I should look up for help.
But hey, you got a better machine now anyway, right? So, it worked out in the end. Exactly.
And as I like to very much poke in the face of people with the, what do you call it? The leveling. The most annoying thing about a printer is leveling. And as I like to point in the face of anyone who has to level their bed regularly, mine's auto leveling.
This guy.
I can literally just take the removable bed off, clean the damn thing, put it back, and it'll run just fine. But hey, with great power comes great responsibility, because I have to fork out about £35 a shot for the nozzles, which I did show you. Here's one that I have right now. It's got a needle in to clean it. It's a little bit dirty, but these things. That's the catch for Flashforge, particularly the A3. But I don't know. Maybe the others have it. But that's what really rubs me and screws me over. But hey, £35. You make these things last, and then they don't hurt you as much. But
So I know your frustrations, and like I said, the thing with the free little filament they gave you, it got jammed while it was printing. I went to bed. I was like, I'm not going to wait for this thing, and then I woke up in the morning and this thing's sitting there with no head, and the spool, the machine just stopped, and thankfully, I didn't get a whole spool of spaghetti on my table here.
I've had plenty of times. It's not fun. It's not fun. But
no. And what else? What else happened here? Oh, then I made what do you call these guys? Koopa?
The thing from Mario.
From Mario, yeah. So I made him, and it came out good, but I didn't know you needed supports on things that have like overhangs and things like that. So, it came out good, but underneath is all stringy and stuff like that, and his mouth is all stringy. But I learned my lesson now, so.
See, the thing I'll tell you about that, Wayne, is not all of the time, supports don't always necessarily save that. Like, you need the supports, which will obviously help it out, but if I'm to really show you an example, I've got the Joker here.
Yeah, oh, nice.
If you look, can you see in detail on his chin?
Yeah, I see like a little black dot or something.
Yeah, well, it's not a black dot. That's kind of... It's where it's fallen a little bit. So, the black dot's a hole because it's fallen. But Yeah, basically that had a support on it, but because of the speed of it, because I had that on. Well, I'll show you now. I had Joker, I had Spider-Man,
nice,
and I had this one is probably my favorite one, a Pikachu Thor hybrid. I had the three of them on a quick print. I literally put it on the standard setting on Flashforge because it's got like fast, standard, high quality, and then like hyper quality, which is like really good. And because standard is quick for it, I had it on quick print because I wanted to be able to paint these things before and on my break at work. So I was like, all right, I'll do these quick prints, put them in a bag, take them to work, color them in. It's relaxing. And then, literally as Joker comes out, I think the same happened on Spider-Man, but you can't particularly see it. But again, it's under the chin. Because of the speed of it can't really understand that the support is there entirely. So it knows it's there, but still it's not resting in place. Whereas if you're doing it slowly, it's going to really know, all right, I'm going slowly. I know there's something holding me up and goes round. And that's why when I was saying to you, like, literally layer height and speed, and you're doing yourself a great deal of favor. But yeah, sometimes obviously you don't want to wait forever in the instances of some of the many 80 hours. I'm looking at you, 3D printed shoes. The 80 hours, the 70 hours, the 2-3 days, those things can really be disheartening because you're looking at it, seeing a little block, and you're like, all right, I want you to turn into whatever you're meant to be. Sometimes you want something like that, but sometimes with patience, you trade patience for quality. Hey, these things can be done, but yeah, it's really, if you give it a little bit of patience, you're going to get, I wouldn't say perfection. Right. But sometimes you will get perfection, because we talked about the lines, and you were saying about all these various things you've heard of to get rid of the lines, and I said speed and layer height, because layer height is a real difference maker. Looking at everything I've got up here, and I'm trying to think of the best thing that I can show for layer height, which I can't really see. Well, just about everything I've got over there. Bear with me 1 minute, and I'll just grab something really quickly.
All right. Well, while he's gone, I also printed another guy from Mario. Actually, this is a Koopa guy, I think. God, I can't remember the name of these things. But anyway, he came out pretty cool, but his hand got messed up. And he actually had a support on his hand there. So, I don't know.
A real Mickey Mouse production here, folks.
It is. Well, I'm showing everybody my other Mario character that I printed. And he's another one that I added supports on this one, and his hand got messed up. But, I'm learning as I'm going here and now, listening to what you say as well.
Do you have like an automatic option to add the supports, or do you have to physically go through and add them?
I do it, but I guess if I download one of the codes, it might already be on there sometimes. I really don't know.
See, with the Flashforge slicer, it's literally got an automatic option where it will add it all for you. But I think that only works on Flashforge printers. But
yeah, probably. Yeah, but this one came out. Well, like you were saying with the lines and stuff. The lines are on here, and when they're too heavy, they drive me nuts. Like I haven't printed anything out that's been too heavy, line heavy yet. But this one was a little bit. I see the lines, but this one came out pretty cool.
Okay, Wayne, tell me, you're a wrestling fan. Tell me how many lines you can see on Rosemary.
Oh, well, the Skype is completely blurry.
Well, I'll tell you. You can see a few at the front, but that's because of the way, when I printed her, I had her laying down. But literally, there are no lines on Rosemary.
Oh, that's cool.
Rosemary from TNA, probably my favorite character on television right now. In general, I don't give a shit about wrestling, but my favorite character in general. No lines on her.
Yeah.
I don't remember how long she took, but I know she was not a quick print. She was
Yeah.
not a 4-hour print, but no lines on her.
But
Mr. Hulk, absolutely no lines. He was not a quick print.
Yeah.
And then this one has a fair few lines because I did them on a quick print. The Red Skull.
That's cool.
I like to think that one was another quick print, but I sat down and literally I've sat for at least 2 days with paint pens on him. That was my piece of advice for you as well. Paint pens. Get some. If $5, £5, get some. Go on with your question, Wayne.
I'll definitely grab some. The Rosemary, did you make that yourself, or did somebody else make that and you printed it?
That would be me. When it comes to the pops, there are literally two real avenues that I go down. The first one is I will get blank pops, so literally just, like you can actually buy the blank pops. There are several templates out there which have the blank pops, and obviously with the blank pops, like I did when I first got some blank pops a few years ago, did them with various people. You can literally put them into a slicer. If you want to have a different look to them, like you can sort of cut things, manipulate them around, do a particular pose, put things in their hands. Like there's a friend of mine, a wrestler in New Jersey, Stan Styles, who he has a shake weight. He has a shake weight and whipped cream. And literally, in one hand I've got the shake weight, in the other I've got the whipped cream. And obviously that was really simple. I just went and got a whipped cream can from another template, put that in a slicer. Slicers are they can be the easiest thing to use, but they can also be the hardest thing to use.
Right.
But not a slicer, like the actual editing and designing yourself kind of thing. Like, take this for example. John Bernthal, Punisher. Never would I be able to do a perfection of a face or detail like that. No. I am very much a basic bitch when it comes to just, I'll take a pop and I'll manipulate it. But yeah. Rosemary I did myself because literally, like I said, my favorite TV character. This wasn't just, one of my friends, I'll make something for them to share on social media and get a couple more people liking my pages. But yeah, so Rosemary, the hair, I went and took from, there's a place where I got a few of the pops that I've made. Like, I think you've seen some of the Thanos, Superman, Kratos from God of War, Ghost Rider, Batman Beyond, a few other X-Men stuff. There's a place called, I think his name is Puriquito. He basically does all kinds of pop culture pops, but they're not pops. They're called PLA kits. So PLA, like the material kit. And they look like pops. They're small little figures like that, but he's literally designed a whole damn thing himself. Now, he has a Patreon. I think it's patreon.com/Puriquito. Again, not my thing, so I'm not promoting it because I don't know it off the top of my head. That's what I think it is. $5, or was it 10? $5 or $10, and he has access to all of these different files he's designed. He's also got some free ones on Thingiverse. And literally, for a while, I was just downloading these things and to get the hair for Rosemary because, I'm terrible when it comes to like drawing, designing. I mean, my own logo is a rip-off of the Superman logo. But because that's the easiest thing in the world to draw. It's just, the diamond shape and letters in. But I can't do hair. I can do some basic things, but I can't do hair. So I went and got a Jean Grey, the Phoenix pop, cut everything out other than the hair, put the hair on Rosemary, and then literally just painted it a sort of purplish colour.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can very much be basic with something like this because when it comes to the design side of things, you can just take things and make it your own. You know, as long as you don't say, "Hey, this I made this John Bernthal Punisher. You know, I designed it, and then I put a chicken head on it." You know, you can't say you made the John Bernthal thing. Yeah, I took all these other things and made it my own. This rosemary, literally, with the exception of the hair and the fact that it's a pop, a blank pop, literally, I made the design. Yeah. So to answer your question in simple, yes.
That's a long way around that one.
I always do the long way around. It tends to be how I go because I'll get into 16 different stories in the middle of it. But hey, when it's a 3D printing show and you're telling stories about 3D printed stuff, it's okay because you're not going off the topic that way.
Exactly. But actually, I found that interesting because you said like you took somebody else's creation and you took the hair off of that. Now, how did you put it in that? I don't know, what program do you use? I think I use Cure or something like that.
See, for the slicing, obviously you got like you got all kinds of different programs for different things. Like you got the slicer, so your actual. Hey, I have a 3D printed file again. Let's take Rosemary for example. So you've got the computer-based version of this, the file.
Yeah.
Ignore the stand. I made the stands because none of these stand up on their own because they're very top heavy. Their heads are large. But yeah, so I've got the file. So let's say I didn't like the hair.
Yeah. I
can cut the hair off in the slicer, but if I wanted to have Rosemary's arm up, I'd have to take it into sort of something manipulator. I go to Tinkercad, so TINKERCAD.com. And I could say, okay, I don't like this hair. I found some other hair on another pop or just a generic figure. I'll cut the hair off of the generic figure on that particular website, which is simple enough to use if you're good with shapes and stuff like that. Like, I wish it was as simple as I could have a drawing pad and just draw, and then it'd be like, yep, we're going to turn it 3D. But no, it's not simple as that. You have to be good with shapes. I could take the hair off of this. Obviously, in some circumstances, you have to, like, cut half, save the file, go back and be like, okay, yeah, I'll do another part. Like, it can get complicated, but, you know, there's things out there to be able to customize things yourself. Much like the 3D printing itself, the actual design side, it's a learning process. Again, you know, if you're good with shapes, you know, if you're one of those kids that put the square in the triangle, you're a little bit screwed. But if you know what you're doing as far as designing, you're going to be right at home. Like, you could say, hey, I want to make a microphone. I'm going to try making a microphone. You go make the microphone shape, and then you paint it up the next day. Hey, you got a microphone. But then if you're someone who's not good at it, you could be sat there for 6 weeks saying, hey, I want to make something simple, but, you know, it's just not turning out simple.
Right.
But no, they are simple enough to use, depending on your skill set.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still trying to learn. Like I told you yesterday, there's a video I want to do. Like, I want to do like a stop animation thing, and I gotta get some figures and stuff to do. But I also want the figures to have different faces. So I want to kind of maybe try to figure out how to print something like that out. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that.
See, with the faces, the easiest thing would be a 3D scanner. You get a 3D scanner, which to this day I'm still looking for one that I actually like. Had an experience with a 3D scanner that didn't work on my computer, so I was like, yep, that's going back to Amazon. That's about £200. But there's a lot of 3D scanner apps on whether you're an Apple guy or an Android guy. In the app stores, there's a lot of 3D scan apps, but they're not very good. Like, I had someone literally go around me to make my action figure with the scanning app. In the end, it didn't turn out too well. But yeah, if you find the right scanner or actual scanner, not just an app, you could actually you could capture the face, you could turn out the something pretty well. You put it into a Tinkercad or one of these other apps that lets you manipulate stuff. You cut all the junk around the face. you put it on an action figure, you'll have what you want. But at the end of the day, that's a 3D scanner. That's an additional cost on top of a 3D printer.
Yeah.
If you manage to get one of the decent 3D scanning apps, which I'm sure one of these apps are actually very good, I probably just don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But you don't know until you try.
Right.
If you manage to master one, better you than me. But yeah, at the end of the day, you are putting your hands in new technology and technology that's beyond this. Like, it's a shame that they can't be like an all-in-one where it's like you've got the scanner attached to the printer and hey, we're doing this so you can make your own stuff. So create your own stuff and then make it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's technology. They're always going to try and get that extra bit of money out of you.
Yes, they are. Actually, when I was looking up how maybe to possibly do it, I saw somebody actually using Xbox camera, Xbox 360 camera, or maybe an Xbox One camera, and doing the same thing like you said, taking the camera and going around the whole person or whatever. I might try to give that a try, see if that'll work.
Yeah, do that. Definitely. You're obviously looking up options because this is something you want to do. Definitely keep looking at these things that people are saying. Give them a try if you have the means. But definitely look into the scanner apps as well. Because
I will. I didn't even know about they're on your phone, right?
Yeah. Because I feel like you're someone who really puts the work into what you do. Obviously, if you look at the successful network you have right here, right now.
Oh, stop it.
But
it's not that successful.
Yeah, but you're still putting the work in. You're doing your bit to make it something. Whereas me, I sit back, I tell people I'm a big deal and hope for them to come to me. So like, that's the difference between you and me. You're putting the work in. I'm not. I'm just waiting for people to come to me to make something. So you're someone who put the work in. So I believe that if you took something that I have let slide, like 3D scanner apps on the phone, I feel like you can make something of it. So, better luck to you than me.
Yeah, I will definitely try. And I actually got the iPhone 12 now, and this is a really good camera on there, so I'm sure it'll work.
Those iPhones are always it's like any phone. Oh, it's just the same thing, but this is better. But this is not a phone discussion.
No, it's not.
Podcast. I could bury every phone ever made if it was. But I'm not.
I wish we still had flip phones for all that matters. Really, it's iPhones and all these things have really killed me anyway. It's like you can't just get off the phone.
Something, Wayne, for a low price of however much it takes to get me out of bed. You can buy a flip phone. It just won't work because it'll be 3D printed.
I wonder if anybody has made an actual working 3D printed cell phone.
I don't know, but here's a joke you're going to have to get used to. People are going to tell you when you say, I have a 3D printer, you're going to have to get used to, why don't you just 3D print another 3D printer and then send yours back? So now that I've actually used that on you, you can now give every single person that makes that joke the back of your hand.
I've seen something, since I've gotten this thing and looking up a lot of websites, I've seen people actually make their own 3D printer, 3D printed.
It's within the realm of possibility. This is the thing that I've told just about everyone that I've talked to this about. You are limited by your imagination with this thing.
Yeah.
The very fact that I made the shoes really tells you that, because I needed a bigger machine to be able to do them in full size. I had to do them in two parts, weld them together, possibly nearly burn the building down because of the fact that I was using a soldering iron to melt them together. But no, you're limited by your imagination. If you think you want to do something, if your imagination says, hey, I can make this, you can probably make it. You have to do, if there's electrics involved, like a 3D printer, you have to work around that. If there's, some sort of element involved, you have to, be it fire, water, earth, whatever, you have to sort that out. But no, whatever your imagination says you can do. That's why I obviously tell people that I never plan on dying. because I have a great imagination.
But yeah, like you said, don't buy this printer thinking that you're going to use it immediately. And
Yep.
kind of like I did, a little bit. But I knew there's always something. Nothing's ever that easy. And there was so many times I was ready to give up on this thing. I told you, I even messaged you a few times. I was like, God, I gotta stop messaging him because he's gonna hate me by the time I get done because I wanted to smash this thing into pieces. It's a frustrating machine.
Yeah,
And,
yeah, you do need a little bit of patience when it comes to actually the inception part of the machine. Like
yeah,
the putting it together, the testing it out, the really getting to know what you've got. Because it's not a TV. It's not
right.
hey, I've just upgraded 10 inches on my TV. I'm gonna see all the other stuff that the TV can do. Hey,
Yeah,
I've just got a new PlayStation 5. I'm going to see what's better than the PS4. It's not your average piece of technology.
yeah,
There's a lot of learning involved. You're learning a new skill,
yeah,
and yeah, you really do have to sit back and really know what you've got because, like we were saying earlier, not every machine is the same. I
right.
had to realize that when I got the ANET A8. And then when I obviously upgraded to the Flashforge and realized, oh wow, this is a much easier machine that I do not have to do anything to. I can literally just put the file in and I can take my ass to sleep.
Yeah.
Um, you really do have to. I wouldn't really say know what you're doing because that would be false advertising because I still don't know what I'm doing.
And I don't think a lot of
But,
people that buy these things know what they're doing. They can't be,
but
you know.
exactly. But you really have to be prepared to be open-minded to, this isn't working. Why isn't this working? And
Yeah.
question what you're doing and really be prepared to get your hands dirty and be a little bit patient and say, hey, this isn't working. I've got to do something about it.
Yeah. Be prepared to be very frustrated, at least for the first week. But then, actually, when you get your first print and then you kind of get the feel of the thing, it gets a lot better. And actually, speaking of that, I made it. Well, you can't see it on here. This box.
Hold it still for.
I'll hold it still, but what I'll do is I'll put a light in here so you can actually see. Oh no, that still don't work.
If
No,
you hold it very, very still.
let's see if I hold it still. There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, anyway, these things are called lithophanes.
Yes.
This is a lithophane light box, and I never heard of that before in my life. I wanted to do something really cool. I said, because my show's all about music, so I said, let me take a album cover and I'll maybe make a 3D printed thing out of that. So I did, and of course I hit the machine and I messed it up and it got all bent or whatever. But it still came out pretty cool. And I put the light behind it. I was like, oh wow, that's cool. It makes you can see the image, You can put like a little in your window or whatever, and the light will shine through it and look cool. Then I thought to myself, that'd be cool to make like a nice little light box out of it. And I thought, shit, man, I just thought of my own idea, And of course, I go online. I saw like tons of people already selling them on Etsy.
Yeah. That's the thing. If it's not, if it seems new to you, it's probably an existing idea. But still, it's not really about everyone else. It's really, hey, you just made something you're proud of. This early on, because I mean, again, you're less than a month in. You've produced something brilliantly, which took me a very long time to be able to produce. But yeah, no, there's a lot of people with these things out there. A lot of people who've made things that will seem new to you. But hey, it's the fact that you made it so successfully. And I wasn't going to do one of the boxes. I was going to do just one photo. I had the photo of myself hitting the American Roughneck with a chair back in 2013, but the picture didn't come out as well when I put it into the slicer. So I was just like, you know what? I'll make an action figure of Roughneck. So here Roughneck is before he had a shave. You may recognize him from a TV show, a kids' TV show, a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
I even signed the back of him. Because
Nice.
I was going to send it to Roughneck. It says, to Roughneck, you suck. Now then and forever, the great Harry Barnett. So that'll be a souvenir to commemorate the fact that I made his life better.
Yeah, yeah, that's a nice gift.
And gift keeps giving my moon.
That's right. But
Me with a Mjolnir that I'm surprised is not broken, considering how much I swing this around.
is that the favorite thing you've printed?
No, it makes me feel safe in an environment that is very safe. But
what is the most favorite thing that you've done?
You asked a great question. Probably, and I don't have one to hand because I gave them away as leaving presents to people. Probably the pops of me.
Yeah.
Because not just because I'm an egomaniac that needs the attention, but honest, between the pops and the shoes, because the shoes were something that really got a lot of people going like, "Whoa, you made shoes!"
Yeah.
But probably the pops, because it was like, okay, so I'm making making my logos on there, doing it with the hat. It was the most adventurous pops I've ever made. Because and it had I haven't got them to hand, but it had the orange glasses. It literally had my entire look.
Yeah.
It was the most creative I'd ever been with a pop, most creative I'd ever been with making something original. So it really was something that I put all of my creativity into. But at the end of the day, it was because it was all about me. And now two people I used to work with now own those pops. One of them dropped hers on the way home, and she had to hear about it. I told her how you don't drop that. That's essentially like that's gold.
It's like getting a trophy.
That stuff. It's like a rare jewel, trophy. And the other person basically put theirs on display, but they're still traumatized at night when they look up and see it. But yeah. Between the two of them, they're definitely my preferred ones. But my question for you, as far as everything you've seen or heard that I've made, but besides the things you tell me, what off the top of your head do you think to yourself, you know what, that would be cool to make? I'd love to make that. Hey, I've seen that. I want to make my own. Like, major life.
Well, this box. Yeah, this box is probably the coolest thing I've made so far. I mean, the stupid things I made before, the Mario figures or whatever. But see, like something like this is kind of meaningful in a way because this is pictures of my wife and my son and all that stuff. So this is cool. I'll sit this on the table in the living room and everybody can see it or whatever. And just before we go any further, Lithophane Maker. Check out his YouTube and website. He says people to please advertise for him, so people know. So if you do want to make one of these boxes, Lithophane Maker, I guess .com or whatever, just look up Lithophane Maker and you'll find it. But he actually designed the way the box gets made and everything, and the pictures get printed inside the box. There's other ones too where it has the sides and then you slip the pictures inside, which is I'm going to try to do one of those next. Because I can switch the pictures out, But I really think this box was really cool. This was a cool idea. I like stuff like that. But I also like the stuff like you do with the superhero figures and stuff. So there's just so much stuff, I get overwhelmed and I want to print everything. But this thing takes forever. This box took me 3.5 days. So this printer was going, for 3 days, all night long. I was afraid I was hoping that the electric didn't go out, and I was afraid of something getting hung up on something. I don't know. My cat would come over here and knock it. Who knows? But nothing happened.
See, as far as it getting knocked, the only answer I can give to that is to actually build your own enclosure, which people do tend to do now. Is they'll actually print out the pieces, glue it together, form it together, whatever. They'll actually make their enclosure. Something that I wouldn't have the patience to do because I've very much tried patience when it comes to making something, got halfway and got bored. But yeah, when it comes to actually keeping something like an enclosure, with an enclosure, you won't have to worry about things knocking it. If it knocks the whole printer, if it knocks the whole enclosure, you're a little screwed there.
Yeah.
But
I'm bound to do that as well. So,
but when it comes to actually protecting it, the enclosure is definitely a good idea. But I've lost my train of thought. Yeah, definitely enclosure.
Yeah.
But yeah, you as far as the time goes, hey, I find myself splitting myself between looking on the 3D printing sites and saying, oh, I really like that. I really like that. I really want to make that just a paint and keep myself calm and not make myself want to violently beat someone. Between original ideas, obviously with me being with my brain thing, quite often I'll get tired a lot, so I won't be able to commit as much time to original ideas as I can.
Right.
But when I get the time, it'll be like, oh, okay, if I'm doing an original idea, I can't print this thing I downloaded earlier to try. And then in the instance of someone who has been doing it a little bit longer, like myself, who can then go and say, all right, now I've got this, I'm going to monetize it. Having people come to you and say, can you make this for me? I'll give you money for this, or actually advertising yourself and saying, hey, I'll make it for you. You've got all of these different directions, and you've only got one machine.
Yes.
Time-consuming one machine. The two biggest slaps in the face of those two things. The fact that, hey, you can only do one thing at a time, and you've only got one machine.
Yeah. Well, they're not too expensive. I don't know, how much was yours?
It was down from like 4 something. I think it was $325.
Oh, so that's not too bad. So you really could buy another machine. It's not thousands of dollars where you can't buy another one.
I not only could I did. But something went wrong with that, and it took up most of the desk, and I couldn't be bothered to really do anything with it. So I just put it in the cupboard. But that was it. It didn't work with my flexible material, because obviously the thing you'll eventually learn as well is, all these different materials, they're going to react differently to your printer. And supposedly my Flashforge isn't supposed to be able to run flexible material. It does. I made sure of that. It does. That's how the shoes came out. But the other machine that I had, which the name I do not remember, I think it may have been a knockoff Creality. I don't remember. But it was a massive printer. I think it was like 500 millimeters by 500 by 500. But yeah, something went wrong where I was like, you know what? I can't be bothered. Take the damn thing apart, put it in the cupboard, and maybe one day I'll need it for parts.
Yeah, so I think that too. Maybe maybe I'll get another machine once I get things running. And if I ever do sell things, like if I want to make more of those boxes and I want to sell them or whatever, make my own type thing, maybe I'll get another machine. But like we were talking about earlier with the leveling thing, I am one of those people that have to level the machine myself. I didn't realize that when I told my wife to buy it, but it's really not a big deal. You stick a piece of paper in there, and when you just stop doing it, when it grabs the paper like a little bit, and then it's leveled. So it's not really that big of a deal.
Yeah, not that big of a deal. Whereas I can just press a button,
and you can just press it
down, it prints, and it's done. Like, yeah. That's always going to be a bragging point. I mean, I do feel sorry for everyone that has to do the whole leveling thing, but at the end of the day, it just means that, hey, I get to sleep that little bit longer knowing I don't have to put twist a thing and put a little bit of paper along, and no, mine just does it automatically.
Yeah, I can imagine how much easier that is. And actually, before I moved this machine when we were doing this show, and I'm like, crap, I moved it, and now I'm gonna have to level it again. So. Yeah.
The one thing, I don't have leveling problems with this, obviously, because of it being auto leveling, something I like to remind people. But the one thing that has got me a couple of times is, let's say I haven't got a support on something, or because of obviously having to clean the bed or glue the bed or something like that. If something moves, let's say the nozzle gets trapped on it, it will keep going. So a lot of the time I will find, like my Harlequin the other day rather, my Harlequin the print had gone completely well up until about here on her head.
Yeah.
So this part of her head was on her shoulder.
Oh.
So it obviously got caught at some point and realized, oh, no, we're going to keep drawing where we are because it thinks that it's on top of her head, but now it's on her shoulder.
Yeah.
So, the nozzle getting trapped, sometimes it happens.
That's what happened to me when I originally printed the first one of this, the guy.
Yeah, and
it was printing, like it was over here doing his legs, and then all of a sudden it went like over here. I'm like, there's nothing there. What are you doing? Yeah,
because it will think that it's there, but in reality, no, it's not where it appears to be. But hey, again, much like everything in this whole procedure, it is a learning experience.
It is.
If I happen to mess up this Venom that is currently printing now, then it will be a learning experience because I will learn that I'm a dummy that should take a little bit more time in actually putting supports on, much like you experienced the other day, support problems. A big sort of advice point I'd give anyone is, hey, if you want something good, don't cut corners. Don't shortcuts. Don't think, oh, I want this as quickly as possible. No, you take your time. You be willing to sacrifice filament because the biggest sort of heartache is a failed print.
Yeah.
If you've got to sacrifice a little bit more filament just to do an extra support, just to draw a I don't remember what they call them, but the sort of base underneath your print. If you've got to if you've got to sacrifice a little bit more filament just for it to aid what it's printing, do it. £15, $15, $20 for another reel. It's completely worth it when it comes to having a completely decent. I'm trying to look at some of my decent stuff. A completely decent print.
Yeah.
Or
it pays off on you. It's not that much money, for the filament. So
it adds up. It adds up.
It does add. If you're going to be printing like a fool, like you are, you're printing every 5 seconds. You're printing everything. You're printing the internet. Is basically what you're doing.
Considering if we count in time, the day after you got your printer, I got my roll of filament for Christmas. So 26th. So in the same sort of time that you've had your printer, I've had the roll of silver filament, which I ran out today. Ran out of the silver today. So in that same sort of time you've had it, I've run out of that filament. So that just adds to the near 7,000 hours that I've been printing in the near 2 years.
Now, do you buy different colors of filament? I mean, obviously you just have the silver one, but do you buy like different ones? Or you stick with like white or whatever?
It depends, because sometimes I'll go with... it depends on what Amazon's selling, because that's my main distributor as far as filament. Sometimes I'll just see what not really what the cheapest is, because I know that the cheapest is going to be nasty, most likely. It's going to clog something up in there. I'm going to have to get a new nozzle. I'm going to punch something for making me have to get a new nozzle. But yeah, it really depends what Amazon is producing. I will try to get different colors, but apparently getting different colors on these nozzles, let's say you put one color through the nozzle and then you put another, something to do with the chemicals, will block it. So I'll try and keep them the same sometimes. But yeah, I've gone through a fair few colors. Like I'm looking down on my floor. I've got a sort of a pile of not really unused ones, but half-used ones. You can see I've got a white one, a clear one, a blue one, a red one, a black one, a silver one, and I've got wood filament over on...
Yes, I've seen those. Those are cool. That'd probably be the next one I'm going to buy.
Definitely worth it. The first few times I used the wood, I obviously made groups. Looked so cool. Yep. Looked so cool. The wood is definitely worth it. As is the glow-in-the-dark ones, but the glow-in-the-dark ones can be a little bit problematic, I hear. They've been fine for me, but yeah, they can block nozzles, and they can not go together and not adhere properly and things like that. But no, they've been just fine for me. But yeah, I have so many, and it's not just the PLA that I've got. I've obviously got the TPU, the flexible plastic. That can really make some fun stuff. That obviously made the shoes, and obviously it made the soon-to-be former President Donald Trump head that I had as a stress ball. I remember a while back I saw someone made a stress ball of it. I was like, hey, I'm going to try that. Downloaded it. Sadly, you can't. I don't think you can paint TPU. Otherwise, I would have painted that orange. But yeah, it's a soft material, so it can be quite interesting what you can do with that. I haven't made any sort of animal toys yet because I don't want to risk killing any dogs with potential chemicals and materials that they should not have. But I'm sure you would be able to make animal toys from these things.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know, they tear them apart very quickly.
Now, with the wood one, do you just have like the one color? Because I saw there's like tons of different wood colors.
I only have the one wood color, I was not aware that there was many.
Yeah, there was a couple of different ones. And actually, because of that, I was interested, because, I mean, it would be really a pain in the ass to make it, because how like, realistic wood looking does it look? Like, does it have, like, lines of wood in there?
Yeah, incredibly. It looks wonderful. Literally, as it's printing, it smells wood-like.
Really?
Yeah, obviously you get that weird plasticky smell when normal PLA is printing, but it has a nice sort of like, oh, this is wood kind of smell to it. Obviously, if you've got that on too hot, it will start to smell like burning, so you have to be careful. But no, it does have, obviously, like all filaments, you pay more, you get better. So I'm sure if you get a really, really expensive, really nice wood filament, you'll get really decent stuff. But mine, I think, was like, I want to say 16, 17 pounds. So, yeah, budget enough, but it turned out pretty well. I think that Groot is on my YouTube channel. That may well have been when I just did it with regular PLA. But, yeah, it turned out pretty well, I want to say.
Yeah, because I definitely want to get the wood. And like I said, they had the different colors. And I was thinking maybe of, like, doing different colors throughout the whole thing, but that would be real pain in the ass, switching it up all the time, I guess.
Yes, very much so.
I did it once. One of the prints I had, the spool was running out. I was like, oh shit, let me get the new one in there real quick. And I did it. It didn't, nothing happened. I was lucky on that one, but I don't want to take the chance of, really messing up.
Yeah, that's the thing as well, because sometimes it can leave, it can leave gaps in the layers.
Right. Yeah.
So I've done that before where it's left gaps in the layers, and you can literally either see the line where it's missing, or you could literally not really snap the print, but like you could pull it and it would come apart, and it would easily it doesn't adhere the two layers together too well. But I've noticed when it's doing the infill, if you change the layer while it's doing the infill, the outside layer will not be missing. So I've managed to master the changing colours thing, but I find it best if you want multiple colours, paint it, because it's a lot less hassle, and with something like paint pens, much better off. Like obviously, paint pens aren't. You've got to do them in layers, so they don't come out as well. So Spider-Man's a paint pen job. They don't turn out as well. Let's say you only do one layer. They don't turn out as well. You can still see the lines as opposed to a spray paint or regular paint. Whereas if you tend to just put a regular paint on, it comes out a lot better with just one layer.
Yeah.
But yeah, with something like where you've gone over and over and over and over, Oh,
That
that's
can be
the
really
thing.
cool.
As far as getting what you pay for, when I was making the shoes and I was looking up how to do the shoes or if other people had done the shoes, I saw somewhere saying with the flexible material, get something called Ninja Flex, and that stuff literally you can screw the shoe up, it unfolds back into shape. But Ninja Flex is £50, $50. So you'd really want to monetize that. You'd really want to sell that to be able to make it worth it. Because being as cheap as I am, I'm not paying £50 just to get filament, to not do anything, to not make the money back.
Right.
But obviously, when you're monetizing these things, you tend to make a great deal of money back.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of fun things to do with this machine, and I can't wait to explore some more things. Like I said, I want to try to make some different heads or whatever, if that'll ever happen. Maybe I'll find somebody else that made heads for figures or something online, and I'll print those up or whatever. But so many things that there's just way too many things to do. It's overbearing. But it's fun.
It gets much like I don't have trouble sleeping at night, but sometimes I wake up and think, man, what if I could have made that? What if I can make that? It gets overwhelming, not because you don't have the choices, but it's because you have too many choices.
Yeah.
And literally there are so many choices out there because of the fact that, hey, it's not just what you can make, it's what other people have made. And that's not just the fact that there's free stuff out there that people put up because, they want their artwork out there.
Right.
There's stuff that you can pay for where, again, you get what you pay for, where the big difference between free stuff, where people just like, hey, I'm putting this out there so someone else can make it, where people actually putting their stuff up, where they're professional artists, they've made something perfect, and I mean perfect, for you to buy and then make yourself, the quality can really differ. But obviously, like I told you privately, sometimes when there's paid stuff out there, people also put that out free in other places, so you can find these things. But
yeah, of course. Yeah, I saw somebody printed up a Baby Yoda the other day, and I found that it was one that they, hundreds of them, but there was a really nice one. Oh yeah, but there was a really nice one, and then I found it, but it was like a pay-for one, and it was like $25, so that's really not that big of a deal. But one last thing before we end the show.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a print get stuck to the bed?
Yeah, yes and no. Yes, because I ran out of what I was using at the time. So at the time, I had this stuff called 3D LAC, 3D lac. I'd spray it on the bed. That stuff would hold 4 days. Literally, and until the bed, it would hold while it was printing, while it was hot. And then when it cooled down, you could easily peel it off. It was so nice. But when I ran out of that stuff, I was looking around thinking, it's not going to hold. It's not going to hold. This is going to ruin it. Well, what do you know? What's the first thing I grab hold of, Wayne Noon? What's the first thing I grab hold of?
Stick it. I've never heard of it.
Super glue. I put super glue on my bed and
that's not a good idea.
Instantly regretted it, because once the print had finished, I go to peel it off, and this was someone actually bought something as a Christmas present for his kid. Luckily, it was the base underneath the print that stuck to the bed, so it wasn't the print itself. As I'm going to peel it off, that bit's not coming off. I had to take a file to it to be able to get that super glue off.
Oh my god.
So the moral of the story, much like every stupid thing that I do, the moral of the story of any bad story that comes out of my mouth is, there's people who say WWJD, what would Jesus do? I'd say DDW TGHBD. Don't do what the great Harry Barnett would do.
Why would you even come up with doing crazy glue? Why would you think that would be a good idea?
The clue is in the name, crazy. Clever.
I know.
But no, I thought I'd be fine, and then and then I hit Google because obviously it's a heated bed, so I was like, the heat and the glue that might make it toxic.
Yeah.
I better look this up, and then I find out, oh yeah, super glue. If super glue gets heated, it can become toxic. I was like, and then I made sure everything on that printer was sealed up so it wouldn't air out.
Yeah.
And, I was fine in the end. Obviously, like I said earlier on, I don't ever plan on dying, so I was fine for then. But yeah, it's not something I'd advise. If I tell you I did it, the best thing to do is not do it.
Yeah, don't do it.
Especially if it comes out in a dangerous manner. Because this is coming from someone who's had multiple concussions. Definitely don't do what I do, but that's only when it comes to something that can physically hurt you. If it comes to lively advice, printing advice, hey, it's probably safe to do. But
just not super glue.
Yeah, just not when it involves super glue, something toxic, or something that'll cause a head injury.
Yeah, because I have the glass on mine, and they didn't say that. Yeah, they didn't say to spray anything on it, so I haven't sprayed anything on it. The one thing did get stuck, and I had a lot of problem getting it off.
Yeah.
But it left a mark, so I have the mark of the feet on the bed still. But I took it off with a nail polish remover, so that helped. So.
Nail polish remover, something that.
Yes.
The funny thing about nail polish remover is I get funnier looks. I get funnier looks going into a store getting water than I do getting nail polish remover. People obviously know how much sugar I live on, so I get funnier looks going into a store with water than nail polish remover. But no, the good thing about the Flashforge is it's got a removable bed, so. It's got something that the bed will slide into. The thing is actually heated. The bed itself is literally just a sheet, and it's got a little clip that will clip into. So if I get something that's stuck, not right now because I was printing, and not right now because I have super glued the bed to the thing. I'll explain why in a second. But with that holding, I can take that off if it gets stuck, and then I can really sort of pry at it to get it off. I stuck the bed to the base because I kept waking up and finding that something, be it the nozzle getting stuck on the print or something like that, would push the print midway through the night. So the bed would be kind of off of the base, and it would still think it was there, so it'd carry on printing. I'd end up finding something that was like, it wasn't just one layer out of place. It would literally be like if Spider-Man got up to the spider, and then from the spider to the top of the spider, it pushed the layer back, and then at the top of the spider, it was like it got caught again. So it was like, nope, we're going to go another layer back, and it ended up being
Matrix Spider-Man.
Matrix Spider-Man, yeah. But no, again, it's probably something I shouldn't do. I probably shouldn't super glue the bed to the base, but learning curve. Learning curve, something to help it from moving in the middle of the night.
It won't move ever again, but
it will if I take the file to it again, or if keep throwing it back to the hammer, because it's one of the two hammers I've had. I have not made Stormbreaker yet. It's one of the two hammers I've made, and I'm sure there'll be another one down the line. But yeah, I keep throwing it back to that because everybody needs a little bit of home security.
That's right. How heavy is that?
Well,
could you knock somebody out with that?
It's not about the heavy; it's about the worthiness.
Yeah, but could you knock somebody out if they broke into your little house there and tried to steal your 3D printed items?
If I swung it hard enough, it would break over the head.
So
the other Mjolnir is the main Mjolnir, the regular hammer.
Yeah.
That's solid. That would definitely knock someone out.
That would knock them out for a few minutes. Well, All right. Well, if anybody has learned anything on this episode, do not use super glue on your bed. And what was the other thing? There was something else.
We've given them a lot of information to digest. I mean, if they a lot of people have told me, like, when they've heard how much a printer can be as far as low price, like I said, £90, £90, $90, $100. As far as that, a lot of people have said, hey, we've got a lot of time now, there's lockdown, might look into it. I mean, you're the second person I've known to have gotten one since I got one, because I had someone at my job a customer came in and got one for his kid for Christmas last year. So, hey, if learning from us, learning from Wayne's learning experiences, learning from my experience and my messing up, if learning from those things can say to you, hey, I want to try this, then, listen to what we've said. We'll come and do this again at some point in the future, because, like we said, it's not a regular thing. It's kind of like a limited series when you see a comic book and it's like, yep, we're only going to get 6 issues out of this, but they're not going to be once a week. It's going to be, hey, here, now, and then.
Pretty much. Whenever we come up with something cool that we've made, right?
Yeah.
And we have to talk about it.
It'll be a little bit between, hey, this is a learning experience, a little bit of a life podcast, and hey, look, we have this cool stuff. Because, I mean, Wayne's got a handful of stuff there, and, I mean, I've got more stuff than I can fit on my desk. And as I told Wayne earlier on, my birthday show on YouTube, search The Great Harry Barnett, on January 17th at 5 p.m. Eastern, it will be the debut of the background, the 3D printing shelf, where literally everything I've printed that I've kept is on that shelf. Right. So, well, apart from the Captain America shield, which I'm contemplating finishing, but no, if you learn something from us, you'll definitely like that.
What day did you say? The 17th?
January 17th.
January 17th. Oh, it's a Sunday at 5. All right. Thanks for telling me the time.
Yeah. I did mean to message you. I came up with that time the other day, and I was like, I'll tell people now, and it was a compromise, because obviously there's people in 2 countries that want to be involved. So I had to make it a little bit early for the East Coast people, and a little late for us. Yeah. But yeah, that will be the debut of where everyone gets to see all the cool stuff, and I'll be a typical podcaster now, because I've heard people in the past say, oh, all these podcasters, they have toys in the background. Well, mine are 3D printed. I made mine myself. I didn't spend a single penny on them. Well,
you spent money on the filament.
Yeah, but I make that money back half the time. You need to remember who you're talking to, Wayne. I'm not just anybody.
That is true.
I'm not just anybody.
That's right. You are the great Harry Barnett, and I am Wayne Newell. And what is the symbol of greatness? And you can catch my regular shows, ratsaladreview.com, which Harry was a part of my network, but obviously he doesn't really do podcasts too much anymore. So maybe if you ever get back to it.
I'm more of a personality than a platform.
Pretty much,
I tend to come and go and do other people's shows, and I represent everywhere I go.
That's right. But if you're into music and heavy metal and all that kind of stuff, that's what I normally do. And this 3D printing thing is new to me, so that's why we wanted to do this show and talk about it a little bit and have some fun with talking about this stuff. And we'll do it again when we do it again. No set times, no set dates. At some point,
we'll have to get Ben Hamin as well.
Yes, we'll have to get him on the show if he's ever not busy. And also Matthew Schaffer. I don't know if we really ever talked to him.
Oh, he has one too?
He's in the process of thinking of getting one.
Okay, so he's followed me. I think I followed him and he followed me back. I'll have to have a talk with him about this, because I've encouraged numerous people to get them, so I'll encourage him.
I talked to him the other day and I was discouraging him, but now I'll change my mind. So on that note, thank you very much for watching the show, and we hope to hear some comments in the comment section under the YouTube or even on our podcast version or whatever, and we will see you guys some other time. Goodbye. What?